Have you ever stopped to think about what keeps our entire legal system from just collapsing into total chaos? It's not some kind of magic, it's actually a set of really smart, kind of hidden rules. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on two of the most important ones, res sub judice and res judicata. But first, let's just imagine something for a second. Picture this. You win a lawsuit, you feel that huge wave of relief, and then a week later you get another summons for the exact same thing. And then it happens again the next month. I mean, that sounds like an absolute nightmare, doesn't it? Well, that specific nightmare is exactly what these two legal ideas are designed to prevent. Without these rules, we'd be looking at a massive judicial traffic jam. Seriously, you could have courts in different cities hearing the very same case at the same time and coming to completely opposite conclusions. People could be dragged into court endlessly for the same issue, and a judge's final decision wouldn't mean much at all. It's not just about things being messy, it's about whether we can even trust the justice system. Thankfully, the law has two really powerful solutions. All right, so let's jump into the first one. I like to think of this as the legal system's pause button rule. This is the doctrine that basically stops two different courts from working on the very same active case at the exact same time. The official name is res sub judice, and the Latin is just perfect. It literally means a matter under judgment. So this rule kicks in when a lawsuit is already filed and is actively being handled by a court. It's the law's way of saying, whoa, hold on, somebody's already working on this one. Now, the court can't just hit pause on any case that looks a little similar. A few key things have to be in place. First, and this is pretty obvious, a suit has to already be pending somewhere else. Second, the main issue, like the core of the fight, has to be pretty much identical in both cases. And finally, you have to have the same people involved, fighting in the same capacity. So, for example, if you're suing as the CEO of your company, you can't then file a second identical suit as a private individual. If all those boxes are checked, then this rule comes into play. And here's a perfect example of how it works. Let's say two people are in court in Mumbai, arguing over who owns a plot of land. Well, if one of them tries to get clever and start the exact same lawsuit in a court over in Delhi, res sub judice steps right in. The second case gets stayed, which basically means it's put on pause, until that first case is all wrapped up. This simple rule prevents a crazy race to different courts and the absolute chaos of getting two different answers to the same question. Okay, so the pause button takes care of cases that are still going on. But what about after a decision has been made? Well, that brings us to our second rule, which I call the case close rule. This one's called res judicata. And again, the Latin tells you everything you need to know, a matter decided. This isn't about pending cases at all. It's all about finality. This rule applies once a court has given its final judgment. It's the full stop at the end of the legal sentence. The whole point of res judicata is to make a court's decision really, truly final. It makes sure that once an issue has been argued and decided, the losing party can't just keep filing new lawsuits hoping to get a different judge or a different outcome. For the people involved, it brings closure. And for society, it creates stability because we can all trust that a court's decision actually means something. Here's a super simple way to think about it. If I sue you for $1,000 and the court makes a ruling, doesn't matter if I win or lose, that's the end of it. I can't turn around a month later and file another lawsuit trying to get that same $1,000 from you. The matter has been decided. Res judicata blocks any new attempt. Case closed. All right, so we've got the pause button for ongoing cases and the case close rule for finished ones. Now, let's put them side by side. This is where the differences really pop. This chart just lays it all out perfectly. Let's look at the meaning. One is pending, the other is decided. Simple. Now the stage, subjudication applies during a lawsuit, while judicata kicks in after it's over. Their purpose is also different. One is about preventing conflicting judgments from happening at the same time. The other is about preventing someone from trying to redo a case that's already done. And this last one is so important, the effect. Res subjudication just stays or pauses a new case, but res judicata bars it, meaning it completely blocks it from ever happening again. So I know these sound like super technical legal terms, but trust me, they are absolutely crucial to how our entire justice system works. So why does any of this really matter to us? Well, because these rules are basically the pillars holding up a fair system. First, they make our courts efficient so they aren't wasting everyone's time and money hearing the same arguments over and over. Second, they guarantee fairness, protecting people from the stress and harassment of being endlessly sued for the same thing. And maybe most importantly, they provide certainty. They make sure that a judge's final word is final, and that's the absolute bedrock of a legal system that we can all respect and rely on. When you put them together, these two doctrines act like the essential traffic cops of the legal world. They bring order where there could be chaos, and they ensure both fairness and finality. It really makes you wonder, right? What other invisible rules like these are out there quietly holding our world together?